Hare Krishna, Hari Bal, Hare Krishna, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Hari Bal, Hari Bal. Welcome, welcome back to our Jaiva Dharma study, and we're into the 15th chapter today. So we'll have a short kirtan, and then we'll begin or resume our study again of Jaiva Dharma. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan, Jaya Gaura. Oh Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. Oh Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhavika Giridhari, Aradha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Rishabhananandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai, Nityananda Rai Ki Jai, Sachinandana Gaurahari Ki Jai, Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimat, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimat, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazara Shishimat, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Rasik Sirumani Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan, Shri Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal, Bhattadasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Jai Swarab Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parsada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sigaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gadurndip Modundip Gaudurip Ritudip Janudip Modundip Rududip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopiko Govardhan Dwarasabhar Matmika Shri Braja Mandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kun Sharma Kun Ganga Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai. Ketra Mandal Ki Jai. Sarva Vigna Vanashakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charidam Ki Jai. Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai. Charyacharya Ki Jai. Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gauda Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Agina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Taravaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shnapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Sarupe Dayata Sarupe Prema Sarupe Sahajiva Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhueka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Karuna Vartino Kalo Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundarada Dikatam Vasatipita Sadahridare Kandare Swaratu Vasachinandanaha Yam Prabhajantam Anapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Vinidustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptasya Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Bhajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Baradram Tato Mamanasti Tatyanavtapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignayavate Tvam Naivam Charnantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandava pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazarashishi Mad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazarashishi Mad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto our beloved Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidanandanamane Gauda Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Brayate, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Varg and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. So, yes, welcome again. Today is the 22nd of April, Monday, 2024, and we're speaking from Godrum Dweep, from Surabhi Kunj, from where this Jaiva Dharma has manifested from. The very location is where we're having the privilege to speak from today. So we'll begin again with our Falshruti, and then we'll ease ourselves into the 15th chapter. So the Falshruti is on page 829 in the Jaiva Dharma. Pritivita yata kata dharmanane chale bhavavata kai shavai paripurana chale. As indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, all the philosophies on earth that are celebrated as Dharma are utterly deceptive. So as we've said so many times, the traditional dharmas of Dharma, Artha, Karma and Moksha are leading to that place of moksha, and if not moksha, then possibly Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, that will be an exceptional achievement from following these four paths. But even the path of Vaikuntha, or the goal of Vaikuntha, is still ultimately a liberated condition. Salokya, Samipya, Sharasti, Sarupya. These are the liberated states of consciousness in Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha is also not our goal, not the destination that Satchinandam Gaurahari had hoped that the jivas of this age would set their sights on. We're not trying to go to Vaikuntha, we're going beyond Vaikuntha, into that land of Madhurya Ras, that land of the kingdom of Madhurya. So these other dharmas are completely deceptive. They've been traditionally the four pillars of religious life for hundreds of thousands of years, Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. And we've been through a number of times describing the different goals or achievements that can be manifested in Satya Yuga or Treta Yuga or Dwarpa Yuga. And in this Kali Yuga, the goal, in this particular Kali Yuga, the goal that Mahaprabhu has given for the jivas is this Swabhakti Shriyam, service to this Unnata Ujjvala Prem that he himself has come to taste. So it's like a quantum leap compared to other places, other ages. So this is most exceptional. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's making this clear here, right in the first verse of his Falshruti, that we're not, that these Dharma, we see in the second verse, he's quoting the second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma Projita Kaitavatara Parama Nirmat Saranam Shatam. This is the verse that he's quoting from. This is, the Bhagavatam is not a cheating religion. There's no envy in the Bhagavatam. It's all completely pure. Therefore, the goals of Dharma, Artha, Karma and Moksha are not the ultimate realities that we have our sights on. So, we'll carry on. Shale Dharma Chadikara Satya Dharma Mati Chaturvagya Tyajitare Nitya Prema Gati. One should completely abandon such deceptive dharmas and absorb his mind in true dharma. In other words, one should give up the fourfold goals of material life. These are material goals, Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha. These are not, will take us to the transcendental world, and aspire solely for the ultimate destination of Nitya Prem. We are looking towards that realm, that transcendental realm, not this nimitic, temporary realm. Amitva mimamsa brahme nija jade buddhi nirvishesha brahma gyana he chidav sudhi. Those who are deluded identify themselves with matter. That is their error. However, one cannot be purified of such delusion by endeavors for Nirvishesh Brahm Gyan. Nirvishesh Brahm Gyan is like moksha. If that is the end result, if that is the end goal, Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha, it can't, the spiritual realm, the transcendental realm, cannot be achieved through these stages. So we are to relinquish our attraction to Dharma, Artha, Karma, and we should understand in our own personal lives that we're not looking to find a peaceful, happy place here in this material world. This is not our home, this material world. This material body is not my ultimate identity. My identity is spirit soul. So if my identity is clear, at least in the intelligence, realization of that will come in time and practice. But at least with my intelligence, I'm understanding that I'm not this material body, so why should I try to make a material, comfortable situation for this material body, which is very temporary, and which we are all engrossed in, this Mayic illusion, which we are all covered by. So this Jaiva Dharma is going to cut through this illusion, first with knowledge of that spiritual world, and then the practice, the abhideya, this has to follow. First we had the Sambandha Gyan, connecting the relationship in the first 12 chapters of this Jaiva Dharma. And now we're going through, we've just begun the Abhideya chapters, and we're going to appreciate what is the means, what is the methodology to reach that Nitya Prem vision, or that transcendental vision beyond this material world. So it's the greatest gift that anyone could ever bestow upon the jiva, this gift of focus on transcendence. Ivicharata hine hale nirvishesha hoy kala samatulya seya aprakrita noy. The Mayavadi thinks Sri Krishna to be subject to the limitations of time, such as birth and death, considers that he is not transcendental. So the Mayavadis consider that themselves are not transcendental, neither is Krishna transcendental, because they're putting the restrictions of temporary birth and death. on their progress. Thus he rejects Sri Bhagavan's Vichitrata, astonishing characteristics, paraphernalia, qualities, and lila. So we've discussed this many, many times. This mood of astonishment, this achintya, this is what opens up the consciousness. When we're thinking, yes, I don't know what is the truth. The truth is something beyond what I've already learnt, etc. It's something so wonderful and beyond my imagination. It's something beyond. Therefore, a natural humility must be born. It must come into place with that. When I'm considering that achintya mood, that ivichrata mood, astonishing mood, and that's about my consciousness. What to speak of about the astonishing activities and nature of that Supreme Lord himself. We've been discussing just now in Radha Kund, we were discussing approaching Gopi Geet, and we were going through many of the chapters, all of the chapters basically of Srimad Bhagavatam. We didn't go into the 11th and 12th cantos, but we went up to the 10th canto daily, and all the way through it's filled with astonishment. It's filled with astonishing pastimes of Krishna, especially in the 10th canto. So when the consciousness opens, and we've described just like a child has an open consciousness, everything around that he sees is astonishing. So there's a connection there with that astonishing world of the spiritual reality. So it comes with automatic humility. We can't consider that astonishing wonderment without a mood of my own material insignificance. That material insignificance, this temporary material body. We've had so many bodies, there are so many billions of bodies around us. What is the big importance of this particular body? The importance is that it's housing the spirit soul, the eternal particle. So if that eternal particle is cultivated, then that soul, then that body has great value. The devotees all have great value because they're cultivating their eternal nature. This is the most wonderful activity that can be performed. It's described that one is heading towards death except for the devotee who is cultivating spiritual knowledge and spiritual realization. He does not die. His soul is awakened to the absolute reality. Did I finish that? Through this vicious attempt, he is left with the philosophy of nirvishesh Brahm. Yes, if he disregards the astonishing variegatedness of Krishna, if he disregards this mood of achintya, he's just left with the dry Brahmagyan. That's all he's left with. And it's interesting in Jaiva Dharma, it has like a reflection to the Srimad Bhagavatam, where we have Shukadeva Goswami, who was playing the part of a Brahmavad, and he was attracted back to the ashram of Vyasadeva by hearing the beautiful verses of the Bhagavatam. And similarly, Sannyasi Thakur is attracted to come to Mayapur to seek the association of the pure devotees, to carry him to that place where he saw at one time a Vaishnava. He's a Brahmagyani sannyasi for many years, and he saw a Vaishnava dancing who was weeping in ecstasy, and he realized that the ecstasy that this Vaishnava is experiencing is way beyond this Brahmagyan that this Advaita Gyan that I'm aspiring for. So when he realized that, then his search began for where are the roots of the Vaishnavas, and then he comes to Mayapur here. That's where this pastime begins in Jaiva Dharma. Kande Gyana Hiya Dharma Ache Sunishchaya Prakriti Hoile Kabu Aprakritanaya. Such base and contemptible Gyan, which arises out of an attempt to dismember the divine form of Bhagavan, is only fit to be rejected. It is prakrita, materialistic, and should never be given credence as aprakat, dham. So this is the first lesson, like in Bhagavad Gita, in the 2nd chapter. What is spirit and what is matter? What is material and temporary, and what is eternal? This point of knowledge needs to be appreciated in the very beginning of our journey and during our journey, and towards the maturity or end of our journey. Always this consideration, understanding who we are in relationship to this temporary material world. It's a wonderful, wonderful journey. It's the most wonderful journey as we progress, because the supports and strengths, especially in this age, coming from Mahaprabhu directly, he's empowered this Harinam Mahamantra. If we just take this beverage daily, that's going to immediately throw us into a detached condition of consciousness from this material world, when we begin not even to speak of the bliss that can be experienced by the sound vibrations of Krishna's names, Govinda, Gopal, all his beautiful names, Hari, Ram, all these beautiful names of Krishna. Rupa Goswami, he writes about this beautiful name, Tunde, Tundavani, how if I'm chanting this name and I want to have 1,000,000 tongues to chant it and 1,000,000 ears to hear it. He writes with such sweetness about the effects of the holy name. So it's this holy name that is empowering our journey. So today we've come to the 15th chapter, the Prameya Jiva Tattva. So just to recap something, we went through the first 12 chapters of, this is Sambandha Gyan. What is my relationship with Krishna? And it was many instances showing the evolution of consciousness to come to spiritual focus. We had Lahari Mahashai, and he was depicted as just a regular scholarly type of a person, but then he became influenced by Vaishnava Das's teachings, and he transforms his whole mind and heart to solidly connect with the Vaishnava mood. So when we see these experiences directly in front of us, this gives the neophyte jiva on this path immediate hope that yes, just by hearing this direction and this knowledge, that I also can become connected with transcendence and become qualified. We have to become qualified to develop our relationship with Krishna. It's a qualification. We have to realize this. In our practical application of Krishna consciousness, we're always looking to become more qualified as a qualified what? A qualified servant of our Gurudev, and ultimately all our Guru Varga. All our Guru Varga are all directing us in the same direction. None of them are saying anything different. They have beautiful, unique, individual qualities, each personality. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Goswami, Bhatta Goswami, Gopal, Krishnadas, all totally unique, self-realized personalities, but they're all ultimately saying the same essence. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanam Smitya Kramana Rasanam Asidyoja Tishtem Braje Tanuragi Janugami Kalam Nayam Akilat Iti Upadesharam. This is the essence of all instruction, that one should take this holy name, live in the holy dharmas. This is the essence of Rupa Goswami's instructions. So we have the Sambandha in the first 12 chapters, and the principal characters are Prem Das Babaji in the beginning, and he's meeting Sannyasi Thakur, who very quickly becomes Vaishnava Das, who instructs Lahari Mahashai, who very quickly becomes Adwaita Das Babaji, and he's instructing his son. So he's going through these different stories, these different experiences of these different personalities who have absorbed these teachings and are now able to teach it to others and exemplify in their own lives how to practice. It's described that Lahari Mahashai, for example, is sitting, he's chanting 2 lakhs of rounds a day, he's studying the Shastra, he's living quietly in Godhram, he has no more material attraction whatsoever, he doesn't want to go back to his home, He has no more interest in supporting his family life. So this is an indication that he's embraced the transcendental vision. He's no longer got any connection, basically, with this material world. This is the extreme practitioner, and we have to translate that into our own various circumstances. How can we become detached from this world, even though we remain in our family conditions, etc., supporting our families and so on? This is necessary to do. This is dharmic to do. This is natural. This is necessary to do. But how to become detached more daily within this material world? It's the detachment that is the principle. And even more than the detachment, that will manifest when the attachment to Krishna becomes strong. That's the only way that real detachment can manifest, when there's real attraction to Krishna and great affection and love towards Krishna, by absorbing the teachings of our remarkable acharyas in our line. So we've come to the 13th chapter, and we've met the personality Brajanath, and in the 13th chapter Brajanath is hearing the Dashamula, and the Dashamula is describing the 9 principal prameyas, the 9 principal truths, and the evidence is called the Praman, so therefore it makes it 10. So we've been through the Praman in chapter 13, and then in the also in chapter 13 we heard about Krishna being the supreme truth. This is the first prameya, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And then we heard in the 14th chapter, which we just completed previously, Sarva Shaktim and Rasabdim, these descriptions of Shakti Tattva, which were just phenomenal. Personally, I'm still resonating with the teachings that we went through in this 14th chapter. They're so profound, so beautiful. Especially, let me just reiterate, at the very end of this 14th chapter, Brajanath is asking the question. We've been talking that Shakti practically manifests and performs all activities in creation. So what about Shaktiman? What about Krishna? What does he do? There's Shakti and Shaktiman. So we've been discussing what is Shakti, and everything is manifesting from Swarup Shakti. Ultimately, Baladev manifests from Swarup Shakti. The Sandini Shakti is manifesting from Swarup Shakti. The Chit Shakti, the Hladini Shakti, all of these, everything in existence is manifesting from Swarup Shakti. So the question was asked, what about Shaktiman? It's described, Puna Krishna, Puna Shakti, Shaktiman, what is it? Radha Puna Shakti, Krishna Puna Shaktiman. So what is Krishna doing? If Radharani, if Swarup Shakti is manifesting everything out of extreme love, then what is Krishna doing? So now it's described on page 329, the third paragraph down. In answer to this question, I agree that Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes all indicate the function of Shakti. They all indicate the function of Shakti. All of Krishna's pastimes, his qualities, his form, is indicative of Shakti. However, freedom, Svatantrata, and free will, Sva-ichamayata, are not the work of Shakti. They are both intrinsic activities of the Supreme Person, and Krishna, that Supreme Person, who has free will and is the abode of Shakti. So this is the final teaching in this chapter, that this is the function of Krishna, Shaktiman. He has free will and he has freedom. They're different. There's a difference between them. This freedom, Sva Tantrata, freedom is when you're completely independent, and free will, you can act independently. So this is the nature of Shaktiman. He is completely independent. Shakti, on the other hand, is totally dependent, just exactly like the heat is dependent on the fire. The fire is utterly independent by itself, but the heat is dependent on the fire. So this is the tattva that we've understood in the 14th chapter on Shakti tattva. Now we come to the second line of the verse, this Annaya Prahad Tattvam Hirim Hara Iha Paramam Sarva Shaktim Rasaptin. Now we come Tad Vibinam Sams Cha Jivan Prakriti Kabalitam Tad Vimuktams Cha Bavad. So this is the Jiva Tattva section. So now we're going to have 3 chapters. 15, the Jiva Tattva, 16, the Jiva bound by Maya, and 17, the Jiva liberated from Maya. These are fascinating chapters. These are key understandings to the Jiva's situation here in this material world. So they're very important chapters to appreciate. So I'm just going to start reading from chapter 15, Prameya, Jiva Tattva. So this is on page 333. The next day, Brajanath reached Srivasangam earlier than on previous days. The Vaishnavas from Godrum had also come before evening to take darshan of Sandhya Arti, and Sri Premdas Paramahamsa Babaji, Vaishnav Das, Advaita Das, and other Vaishnavas were already seated in the Arti Mandap. You see how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is practically painting a picture for us of the Vaishnava world. In so many instances at the beginnings of each chapter, he's described the collections of the Vaishnavas and the backdrop of Godrum, or sometimes in Devapali, Nrsimhapali, sometimes in Mayapur, sometimes in Koladvip, different locations of the Gauramandal. So he's introducing us to the backdrop and the personalities here. This is where we want to connect with these personalities. We already have said something about Premdas Babaji was from the very beginning instructing Sannyasi Thakur. And then Sannyasi Thakur in turn became Vaishnava Das, Advaita Das. We've already described these personalities. And other Vaishnavas were already seated. So we're getting some Sambandha. Again, Sambandha is the baseline, is the platform. We're getting connection with these personalities. If we have affection for these personalities, then we can hear their instructions much more lovingly with an open heart and take the instruction deeper into the deeper recesses of our consciousnesses. When Brajanath saw the bhavs of the Vaishnavas from Godrum, he was struck with wonder and thought, I will perfect my life by having their association as soon as possible. This is the desire of all sincere sadhaks, is to have association of Vaishnavas who are very eager, enthusiastic to develop relationships amongst each other in a mood of service to Krishna. If it's in a mood, if it's on the platform of service to Krishna, not a selfish mood, if this selfishness can be gradually purified from the heart, and we start to see the greater sense of Mahaprabhu's mission in this world, a greater sense of our Guru Varga. What did they come to offer to this world? What did they come to give to this world? I want to be part of that family. I want to be contributing to the welfare of humanity according to the teachings and precepts of Sachinandan Gaurahari and all his Guru Varga. This is what I want to be in that family, that camp, that sampradaya, this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. I want to be a part of that. I want to have that vision of how to go forward in my own realization, as well as contributing to the welfare of humanity in the highest sense, which is to connect with the soul. It's not just passing out free food to poor people. That's not the highest sense of welfare for humanity. If it's prashadam, then it's different. Then you're giving them some connection in bhakti. But if it's simply, like in many religious groups, they do all kinds of altruistic activities, just helping people, helping poor people, etc. This is not going to necessarily help their souls. The Vaishnavas have a higher vision of how to help the soul of all humanity. And we don't have to think about it. We just simply follow the teachings of our Guru Varga. They have given everything, absolutely everything, especially in Jaiva Dharma. So when Brajanath saw the barbs of the Vaishnavas from Godram, he was struck with wonder and thought, I will perfect my life by having their association as soon as possible. When those Vaishnavas saw his humble and devotional disposition, all of them bestowed their blessings on Brajanath. So Brajanath, at this point, he hasn't taken on the specific dress of the Vaishnava. He's a resident of Mayapur, just north of Mayapur, and he doesn't describe, but he's probably just wearing a dhoti and kota like that. But he hasn't taken the formality yet of initiation into the Vaishnava Sangha. So the Vaishnavas there are very touched by his humble nature and mood of submission. They can sense this, they can hear this, they can see it. So they bestowed their blessings on Brajanath. This is what the sadhak needs. He needs the blessings of the Vaishnavas constantly, constantly, constantly. We're always seeking, if there's any Vaishnava that we consider has more understanding than we have, which the sadhak will always think most people have more than me. That's just the nature. And then we're always begging their blessings, begging their blessings, begging their blessings. It's the accumulation of those blessings that's going to take us forward. And it's a mood of submissiveness towards the residents of Braj, Goradam, and the devotees, the higher devotees, as much as possible, begging their mercy. When Arti was over, Brajanath and the elderly Babaji began to walk southward together in the direction of Godram. Raghunath Das Babaji saw an incessant stream of tears flowing from Brajanath's eyes, and feeling very affectionate towards him, asked lovingly, Baba, why are you weeping? When someone weeps, if he's not, a fake, then it's something that is coming from the heart. It's like someone who is just immersed in gyan and knowledge. Their heart hasn't softened sufficiently to fill up with feelings that will well out of the eyes in the form of tears. So Brajanath is feeling very emotional in the sense of his affection and attraction towards the Vaishnavas. This has sparked an incessant flow of tears from his eyes. And Babaji very beautifully is inquiring as to the reason for his incessant tears. Brajanath said, Prabhu, when I remember your sweet instructions, my heart becomes restless, and the entire world seems to be devoid of all substance. The entire world is devoid of all. That means there's nothing attractive in this material world except my connection with the Vaishnavas. This is the highest, most sweetest taste that I can experience. And it's touched his heart so powerfully that tears are just falling from his eyes. This is the stage of bhav. And we've discussed many times that if the sadhak's practice is not focused on bhav bhakti, then his sadhana is like zero. It's just vaidhi bhakti. It doesn't have the motivation or the enthusiasm to actually realize his real spontaneous attraction to Radha. Vaidhi Bhakti means following the rules and regulations, governed by fear, governed solely by the directives of Shastra. That's what Vaidhi Bhakti means. But Raganuga is when one will just run spontaneously towards Krishna, knowing what are the rules and regulations, not transgressing anything. But Bhav Bhakti is something very special, which we will come to in the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd chapter. We'll come to exactly what is Bhav Bhakti. But this has to be appreciated at this stage. Prabhu, when I remember your sweet instructions, my heart becomes restless and the entire world seems to be devoid of all substance. My heart is becoming eager to take shelter of Sri Gauranga Dev's lotus feet. This eagerness, his heart is restless, it's described. When someone's heart is restless, what does that mean? It means they want something, they're anxious, they have a desire. And if your desire is focused on service to the Supreme, somehow or other, how can I please Krishna? How can I please the residents of Vrindavan? How can I please Srimati Radhika? That mood of bringing pleasure to the Vaishnavas. Then in eagerness, this is going to have a reciprocal effect from the Vaishnavas and from the Lord directly. When we serve the scripture, when we serve with great attention and respect, when we take these scriptures and drink them, the instructions, we open our hearts to receive the speciality and the gifts, especially, as I said in the very beginning when we started this study of Jaiva Dharma, the person who actually manifested this Jaiva Dharma, who is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If our attraction to Bhaktivinoda Thakur is increasing regularly with our reading of each chapter, this is very, very, very supportive of understanding these truths. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written so copiously, so many beautiful Gita Mala, Kalyana Kalpataru, so many poems, Sharanagati, that we can immerse ourselves in, which will invoke more of the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to understand these topics. Please be merciful to me and tell me who I really am according to Tattva, and why have I come into this world? When the Jiva asks this question, his life is assured of success. This is the question that Sanatana Goswami asked directly to Mahaprabhu. Kiyami, everyone is saying that I'm a great scholar, but I don't really feel like that. I want to know who I really am. What is the nature of my soul in relationship to that Supreme Lord? So now Babaji is going to respond. My dear son, you have blessed me by asking such a question. You see, Babaji, he's also reciprocating straight away. He feels blessed by the question. The question will open his consciousness completely. Now Babaji will be able to give, because the question, just like in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj, he asked this question to Shukadeva Goswami right at the beginning. What should a man do who's about to die? Parikshit is about to leave his body in 7 days. He's been cursed to die. So he's asking this question, what should a man do who's about to die? This is the most tantalizing, beautiful question we could ever consider. So when this question was asked to Babaji, he became so happy to hear this. He did bless me, he says, by asking such a question. The day that the Jiva first asks this question is the auspicious day on which his good fortune arises. This is just what he's saying, right? This is when his fortune arises, when he asks this question. If you will kindly hear the 5th shloka of Dasmula, all your doubts will be dispelled. So we're in the process of going through the 10 prameyas. So this is the 5th prameya. Spurlinga ritirna eva chid anovo jiva nischayaha hare suryasya viva pritag apitu tad veda vishayaha vashe maya yasya prakriti patiya eva vara iha sa jivo muktopi prakriti vasho yogaha sva gunataha. Just as many tiny sparks burst from a blazing fire, so the innumerable jivas are like atomic spiritual particles in the rays of the spiritual sun, Sri Hari. though these jivas are non-different from Hari, from Sri Hari, they are also eternally different from him. So straight away we have a contradiction here. They're the same and yet they're different. And we can understand this because we chant Hare Krishna, because we're in association of devotees. Our mind will be able to accept this complete contradiction, the same and yet not the same. It's called Achintya Bheda Abhedata. There's going to be a whole chapter on this soon. So this is what's being described in this verse. Though these jivas are non-different from Sri Hari, they are eternally different from him. The eternal difference between the jiva and Ishvara is that Ishvara is the Lord and Master of Maya Shakti, whereas the jiva can fall under the control of Maya even in his liberated stage due to his constitutional nature. So we're going to go into the fascinating appreciation of this verse in this chapter. How does the jiva fall under the veil of this Maya Shakti when he's actually non-different from Krishna? How does that happen? So this is going to be explained. Brajanath, this is an exceptional Siddhanta, and I would like to hear some Vedic evidence to support it. Sri Bhagavan's statements are certainly Veda, but still people will be bound to accept the teachings of Mahaprabhu if the Upanishads can substantiate this principle. Okay, so this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur wants to give us a rock-solid platform for where we're going here. He wants to give us the Praman from all of Shastra. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wants to give us the Shastra. He wants to, because the Shastra has it's the platform, it's the cushion where everything can spring with complete confidence. If the Shastra is understood and is there, it's like stone. You can't deviate from the understanding. It's rock solid. So Babaji, this tattva is described in many places in the Vedas. I will cite a few of them. Yatagne Shudra Vishpulingaha Viyucharanti Evam Evashmad Atmanaha Sarvani Bhutani Viyucharanti. Brihat Aranyak Upanishad 2.120. Innumerable jivas emanate from Parabrahm, just like tiny sparks from a fire. So understand what's happening here, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's manifesting this Dasmula. This Dasmula has come from the heart of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, from his inspiration. So he has to substantiate it with the rest of Shastra to show that it's not just a speculative type of idea that he's come up with or something of that nature. So he personally is supporting this verse from Shastra fully to show its authenticity. Tasyava etasya purasasya dva evastane bhavata idam cha paraloka stanam cha sandhyam trityam swapna stanam tasmin sadya stane tishtan eta ube stane prashyatidan cha parokla stanam cha. Brihat Aranya Upanishad 4.3.9. There are two positions about which the Jiva Purush should inquire: the inanimate material world and the spiritual world. Two worlds. The Jiva is situated in a third position, which is a dreamlike condition, swapna. Swapna means dream. Sthana means position, smapna stan, and is the juncture, the tatashta, between the other two. This is so important to catch. We are a special tattva, because when we get to the 16th chapter, it's going to be described about all the jivas in the spiritual world, and then it's describing the inanimate jivas in this world, and there's a space between the two, and we are in that space. We're called the marginal nature. That's our nature. Whichever way you look at it, that's our nature. We are Krishna. We have the same potency of Krishna, and at the same time we can be covered by the illusory energy. Krishna can never be covered by the illusory energy, so we're never Krishna. We can never be the Supreme Master. Actually, the sadhak never wants to be the Supreme Master. He wants to be the servant of the Master. This is the cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This shloka describes... Oh, I didn't finish that. Between the other two. Being situated at the place where the two worlds meet, he sees both the Jad Jagat, inert world, and the Chid Jagat, the spiritual world. This is phenomenal. This is the uniqueness of the conditioned jiva. He's tatashta. This shloka describes the marginal nature of jiva shakti. Again, it is said in the Brihat Aranyaka Upanishad 4.3.18, Tadyata maha matsya ube kule nushan charati purvan chapran chaivam evayam purusha etav udva antav anu sancharati swapnatan cha udantana cha. Just as a large fish in a river sometimes goes to the eastern bank and sometimes goes to the western bank, so the jiva, being situated in karna jal, the water of cause that lies between the inert and the conscious worlds, also gradually wanders to both banks, the place of dreaming and the place of wakefulness. This is our nature. It's discussing the tattva of the jivas. Brajanath, what is the Vedantic meaning of the word tatashta? Now this is important. Babaji, the space between the ocean and the land is called the tata, the shore. But the place that touches the ocean is actually nothing but land. So where is the shore? The tata is the line of distinction separating the ocean and the land. It is so fine that it cannot be seen by the gross eyes. We see the waves coming in and going out. Where is the actual demarcation line? It's blurred. It's not crystal clear. Sometimes the land is covered and sometimes it's uncovered. It's continuously like that. So we are being covered and uncovered simultaneously. We're fluctuating in this marginal region. Tatashta is not a geographical region. There's not a place called Tatashta. It's a state of consciousness. It's a state of consciousness that pervades all conditioned jivas. If we're in the lower states of consciousness, Acharita Chaitana, Mukhalita Chaitana, etc., Sankulita Chaitana, these lower stages of consciousness, then we have the potential to come to the higher stages. So still we're marginal. Our root will be marginal, do you understand? It's not that a tree is not marginal, because it hasn't developed its higher state of consciousness. In time, it will eventually get a human birth, where it will be more apparent that he has the spiritual opportunity to connect with the higher realm of consciousness. That Vikulita Chaitana.
Potential.
Yes. The tata is the line of distinction separating the ocean and the land, and it is so fine that it cannot be seen by the gross eyes. If we compare the transcendental realm to the ocean and the material world to the land, then tata is the subtle line that divides the two, and the jiva shakti is situated at the place where the two meet. We meet between the spiritual consciousness and the material consciousness. That's it in a nutshell, what he's just said in the last sentence. There's the spiritual consciousness, that chit jagat, and there's the jad jagat. Jad means dull. And there's the covered consciousness. So we are right in the middle of that. Yeah, that's where we're born. That's our nature. We desired this. That'll come in. We'll unpack it as we go through. But this is where we are. The jivas are like the countless atomic particles of light within the sun rays. Being situated in the middle place, the jivas see the spiritual world on one side and the material universe created by Maya on the other side, Just as Bhagavan's spiritual Shakti on one side is unlimited, Maya Shakti on the other side is also very powerful. It's powerful. The innumerable subtle Shukshma Jivas are situated between these two. The Jivas are marginal by nature because they have manifested from Krishna's Tatastha Shakti, marginal potency. And we manifested in the Brahman region. That's where we actually manifested from. And we had the opportunity to be attracted to the spiritual world in an instant. This is what's going to come in the 16th chapter, but I'm just filling in some gaps here. That, or to be attracted to this Mayic illusion. Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj says something very beautiful. He says, at that point of decision making, one was internal or one was external. The external is the world of Maya. The internal is connecting with the soul's function, which is service to Krishna. That's the function of the soul. It's just to serve Krishna, nothing to do with this material world at all. Or to go in the external direction, which is to get entangled in the Mayic illusion. So he says it very simply like that. It's very beautiful.
Personal decision.
Yes, but what we have to appreciate, and I'm going to leave it here, is that this decision was not a historic decision. I'm going to say this regularly. It's a decision we're making every moment of our lives. We are encased in this Tatastha Shakti now. In the moment you'll decide, yes, I'll come and listen to the class. The next second you might decide, no, I'll go and have something to eat, or gratify my senses in some way. We have this choice daily, 1,000 times. Before you take rest tonight, how many times will you turn away from Krishna? And how many times will you turn to Krishna? We oscillate because we are Tatastha. We are of this energy. We are marginal. Until we get strong in, it's called Bal Shakti, in this spiritual strength and decisiveness and Shraddha, until our Shraddha becomes thick, we will never want to look at this illusory energy again for our own gratification. But this decision is happening momentarily. It's not something that happened millions or billions of years ago. It did happen millions of billions of years ago. That's why we got ourselves here. But at that point, it's the same discernment or the same decision that was then is happening right now, today. So we have to come up to speed, up to present, with the reality of this Tatastha Shakti. It's not a historic thing. It's something that we are made of. We're made of this Tatastha Shakti. There's two types of jivas, three types of jivas altogether, as described in the 16th chapter. Those who are attracted to Radha Binod Bihari in Goloka Vrindavan, and those who are attracted to Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. These are both spiritual domains, and the jivas are manifested in both of those domains. They're perfectly spiritual. And the third type of jiva is manifesting from this state of Tatastha, this consciousness. And Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he describes again that more jivas that manifest in that Tatastha region are attracted to Krishna, and much, much less jivas actually come into this world. But we come because we're attracted to the external illusory energy. And the carrot, so to speak, or the attraction, is that I will become like God and enjoy His property. This is a whole other story that's going to be described and unpacked in the 16th chapter. I'm jumping ahead because I want to make this Tatastha point clear. So we'll stop there and resume tomorrow. But I just wanted this point. I just finished this paragraph. The jivas are marginal by nature because they have manifested from Krishna's Tatastha Shakti marginal potency. So now Brajana is asking, what is the Tatastha Swabhav, marginal nature? So tomorrow we'll hear more in depth about the actual nature of this Tatastha Shakti. I find it personally an absolutely fascinating topic because I'm a jiva, I'm a conditioned soul. So it's about us and our connection with the Supreme, and it's why we're bound by Maya, and it's the structure of our prison house, so to speak, that we're discussing. Once you know the map, then you can figure out what is required to actually become released from this. Of course, the release is only devotion. That is the key factor. It's not the mechanical. It's not the knowledge that is going to release us. It's the devotion that will be cultivated only because it's a place, it's like a channel of the heart, like a ray of sun in the heart. It connects us to the transcendental world. It's very special. Okay, Jaiva Dharma, chapter 15, Ki Jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Gaur Premanande, Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhavevascha, Patitanam Papnibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.